last night we watched an incredibly exhilarating game.
Oh, yeah.
We watched the Cowboys and the Packers on Sunday Night Football. That game end in a 40-40 tie. After we had one of the most dramatic trades in NFL history during a preseason, where Micah Parsons made a public statement saying that he did not want to be a part of the franchise, and then Jerry Dum Dum Jones trades him away for Kenny Clark and a sandwich. And we're graced with the opportunity to watch these two teams go toe-to-toe with one another. Everything was bubbling perfectly. And it was supposed to be lopsided. Despite this, we were blessed with a back-and-forth shootout between these two squads. Micah Parsons is playing well. Dak Prescott's playing well. Jerry Jones is overlooking like a Sith Lord up in his press box. And the game ended in a damn tie. After all of that, the game ended in a tie. I actually have no take about either of these teams in this game because, frankly, you shouldn't really have much to break down for a tie for either of these teams. I was sitting on this couch at the end of the day, and I was tired. And I was sitting there slouched over watching the game. And it didn't register to me until the Packers kicked the tying field goal that the game was over after all of that. So I'm saying this to say, Sean, I don't know how we don't have some sort of a shootout. I don't know how it's acceptable in the year 2025 that this is how a game can end. It is not 1940. We are in a year where there is a lot of opportunities for excitement to be generated. And they completely missed by the fact that the rules allow for that to happen.
Well, games used to be able to not end in ties much easier, but now both teams have to touch the ball because of all the crybaby shenanigans from the NFL playoffs over the last 5 years. It can't just be coin flip, we lost, so sorry. Mm-hmm. That used to be the grateful, righteous justice and injustice of the NFL that you would have to carry with you if you lost that coin flip and your defense couldn't get a 3-and-out or turn the other team over in about 3 or 4 possessions. Like that's just something that we had to walk with. But now you kick a field goal, now it's got to extend, and the other team can kick a field goal, and everyone's got to score touchdowns in the overtime. It was a tremendous game. It was juiced to the very last second, and the narrative was being juiced all game. I thought Collinsworth was out of his mind with every time that he could, pointing out Micah Parsons or, Dallas could use a pass rush. And great. It was like a couple plays after getting a big-time strip fumble at the half. The next half, it's like we all forgot. We all got zapped with the ray that makes us forget the Cowboys were getting home without Micah Parsons, and you just had to keep on reliving it. I know it was a massive trade, but honestly, the Cowboys played better than that trade being the biggest story throughout the whole evening. I know why they had to do it. I know why they forced it. Micah's vocal. Micah's talented. Micah's explosive. He puts up big numbers. He's an exciting player. But I think the broadcast messed up because the game itself superseded an offseason move where it was the Cowboys stepping up to the occasion, the Packers using every weapon at their arsenal to be able to take them down, an unexpectedly good Cowboys performance, and all they're talking about is a player trade the whole time. That was what was grinding my gears before the tie, and the tie itself is so un-American. It's so not NFL that it can't continue in this league anymore.
I don't mind the commentary on bringing up Parsons because, to the broadcast credit for what you seem to not like, it is very dramatic the way that everything went down. And I do think it's somewhat solid storytelling to keep referencing it and to keep calling upon Parsons when he has pressures and he has sacks and whatnot. But here's my thing. And it keeps coming back to the tie. Obviously, college football gets a lot of grief for the 2-point shootout that it utilizes. A lot of people are not satisfied with the way that is handled, and I completely reject criticism of that format. The Georgia versus Georgia Tech game was one of the most insane games that I have watched. And that was the best example for what happens when we have these shootout games.
Loved it.
I don't know when that rule was enacted. It was very recently. But that is what we could have been given. Georgia versus Georgia Tech, except on the grandest scale of the NFL with the Packers, the Cowboys, two of the biggest brands in the sport, just duking it out after they duked it out for four quarters. We shouldn't expect these guys to go to another overtime. It's understandable. For player safety's sake, it doesn't make any sense. You don't want these guys to keep playing and end up playing like 6 straight games because nobody ends up winning.
I'd rather have them keep play. In all honesty, I don't care if they have to play another quarter. I don't care if we bump it. I'd rather them bump it up to 15 minutes for overtime.
But I would say, though, it's unrealistic that the NFLPA, who has a say in the outcome of how the game gets altered, I would say that we're probably not going to get that. So can we please switch to the shootout? We have examples of it, how it's worked in college.
It's too easy to do that, Joe. It's too easy. In the NFL, I don't think it wants to come off looking like they stole something from college, even though it's a better system.
Well, they do it often.
It's so much of a better system, and you actually get a winner. The tie game, nobody's happy with because somebody needs to lose. The fans have immense levels of bloodlust. They want a winner and a loser. That's what I want. I'd take anything. I'd take the 2-point shootout. That's honestly the most sane, realistic option that we can get. Put them on the 2-yard line. First team that doesn't have the play that goes in, you lose. That's fine with me. I'd love to see a throw for distance between the quarterbacks. If you have a guy like Milton on the team that can throw it 65 yards, let's do that. I'd take a 50-yard dash. Your fastest versus my fastest.
Wait, what if we take the 2 biggest guys on every single on each team, and they both start at the goal line and they run full speed at one another?
I am pitching serious options here. And the NFLPA wouldn't clear that. What do you think?
What if there's like a big bonus if you win that? What if you win? Because it's not going to happen often.
So what would happen there? Well, you would have Jordan Davis on one end, or Jordan Davis and Osa Odigizua at the opposite end zones. They hit at 50 and they both knock each other out.
I don't know how you determine that.
Can't do it,
that would
Joe.
just be kind of sick to watch.
It would be sick to watch. I'd rather have that be in the Pro Bowl.
What if we did? Well, what if we just did an Oklahoma drill? What if we just lined up, did an Oklahoma drill?
That'd be awesome. But it'd be too. You know what? A board drill would work. I'd like a 50-yard kicking competition, hockey style. First one to miss loses. Kicker versus kicker. Put it all on the line. Put the game that you worked now 70 minutes for on the line for the 2 guys that haven't had a bead of sweat on their head all game.
Here, I got it. What if someone brought out a basketball hoop and we play knockout?
I'd watch knockout. I swear to God, Joe, I'd watch NFL knockout.
If somebody could sneak that into the rule book for a very specific situation, that would be hilarious to see happen. Be like, oh, they're bringing out the hoop for this very specific rule. And then you've got Dean Blandino sitting explaining, well, you see, very recently they added this in this very specific situation.
You know what? I think that Green Bay, here's what's irritating me, is that Green Bay had a second left on the clock and they decided to kick it. I know why you would. I know numerically you don't want the loss.
There with the loss.
Is that pussy to me? Is that pussy to you to have a second left and not go for the win?
They weren't in a
do
position
it for country.
They weren't in a position to score. My problem was how nonchalant they were about moving down.
It was like 48 seconds left. They're at the 50. I'm like, get going,
They had like a minute 20, and they legitimately had a shot to just move efficiently and then put themselves in the scoring position. I don't know. That kind of ruined what was an amazing game, and I was legitimately pissed. At least if you're gonna tease me for 4 hours, at least let me finish. At least give me something.
I can't look at you right.
I had a couple of tweets that I held back where I was like, that one's not gonna get. I'm gonna get yelled at for that one.
Are we too grown? Or are we not grown enough, rather, to be able to say, okay, it's a tie after 70 minutes now. We are going to take it back to another coin flip. And the termination of this coin flip will settle this game, win or lose. Could we handle that?
We just flip a coin? No, we can't do that.
I'd rather have that than a tie.
I just feel really unfulfilled. That's all I'm saying.
I would too. I'd rather be yelling at a coin than yelling at the nobody in Thailand. The land of the Thai, rather.
What if we took 2 fans and we brought them onto the field and they ran routes on air and the opposing quarterbacks threw passes to them? What if we did that?
That just sounds like a bonus giveaway for the special fans of the
Wait,
night.
Well, we got all these stupid corgi races. What if we did that? What if we just pull 2 corgis and we let them run run from one end to the other, and whoever gets there first is the winner.
It's honestly as fair as any other option I think I've thrown out there. I'd take a roulette wheel spin, red or black. I'd give no green.
Right, now we're just being silly here.
Oh, you can't. It's all chance at this point because they're not going to go back out. And the NFLPA, they've been on the griddle also this week because of all the injuries and the lack of practice. Like all the old men in football, John Gruden went on a tear. The other old men in football are going on a tear about the injuries and how nobody's practicing and nobody's ready.
No.
And you're telling me that they're just going to get away with less football with more games? I'm sure. The rubber is going to meet the road with the NFLPA, and someone's going to say, you guys got to start practicing or you guys got to stop getting it, or we got to completely change the game.
Yeah. We're definitely entering into a very bad
because it's
territory.
too specialized. The NFL and the athletes in the NFL are so specialized and so hyper athletic in very specific movements that when anything awkward happens, whenever the dance routine, so to say, is messed up by a step, massive calamity. So there's only a couple ways you work around that. You practice more or you totally change the game.
All right, let's get to talking about more of these games so we're not hanging too much on the Cowboys and the Packers.